بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونستهديه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهد الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله انتجبه لولايته واختصه برسالته وأكرمه بالنبوة أمينا على غيره رحمة للعالمين وصلى الله على محمد وآله وعليهم السلام
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
أوصيكم عباد الله بتقوى الله وأخوفكم من عقابه فإن الله ينجي من اتقاه بمفازتهم ولا يمسهم السوء ولا هم يحزنون ويكرم من خافه يقيهم شر ما خافوه ويلقيهم نظرة وسرورا وأرغبكم في كرامة الله الدائمة وأخوفكم عقابه الذي لا انقطاع له ولا نجاة لمن استوجبه فلا تغرنكم حياة الدنيا ولا تركنوا إليها اللهم صل وسلم على سيد المرسلين وخاتم النبيين وعلى أهل بيته المنتجبين In today's khutbah, I will inshallah try to cite one or two hadiths from Kitab al-Kafi related to especially to today's occasion of Eid Al Adha. I may not be able, because of the shortness of the time, to go through all the details. Briefly to mention, the book in my hand is Kitab al-Kafi, Volume 4, which is contains the book of fasting and book of Al-Hajj. If you go through the book of Al-Hajj especially, the information, the hadiths given in this book are really marvelous. Many of them will tell you about the system of the creation of Allah and His institution of Hajj. And all the items and masha'ir, which is called masha'ir, reminders of Allah in the process of performing Hajj, from Tawaf, from Sa'i, Safa and Marwa, Mina, Arafat, Mash'ar, all of those masha'ir. There are quite a bit of details, and every one of them is marvelous to connect people to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to His worship, knowing Him, realizing His greatness, and obey Him. There is one hadith at the beginning of Kitab al-Hajj which speaks of Hajarul Aswad, the black stone, how it came all about. There is a beautiful, lengthy hadith narrated from the 6th Imam alayhi salatu wasalam. Somebody asked the Imam a question, one of his companions, about the black stone. Why do we have to kiss it? Why it is placed in that corner? And where from is it? Where from the black stone come? Why it is so important? Why you have to follow all the procedure? Imam answers him, says, you made quite a complicated kind of question, asked several issues, several things about it. And now, listen carefully what is the answer to all of this. Before I go into the details of this hadith, which I will not be able to explain fully and completely because of the shortness of time, all I recommend, this book, of course, is volume 4, is not available at this time in print, but volume 1 and 2, this is volume 2, they are available. They are in print, and if you like to read them thoroughly, some of the mu'mineen has been generous to donate, to distribute it among mu'mineen freely. We have some copies of it available here, and Brother Nasheed has some more, and if you like, some more could be supplied to you. It's very important for the followers of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam to go through this book, read thoroughly, all of it. And if you look at all 8 volumes, more beautiful, and especially volume 1 and 2, every follower of Ahlul Bayt is a must to read. If you want to increase your love of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, love them really from the bottom of your heart and in the true sense, you cannot do that without reading this book. This is the teaching of the Imam. When you go through, you will realize who they are. Loving without knowing is not possible. It's not worth much. If you know something and then you love, or otherwise, then it is worth it. The only way to know, for us, the Imams, in real sense, realize their greatness is to go through their ahadith. This book is of 8 volumes, and it has 16,000 hadiths from Imam. And all you know, you have heard about it already, that this is the first collection of hadiths in our Shia school. From Imam most of you already know it. And therefore, I would usually give you an example, interviews. You have heard interviews? People who are expert in the field of interviews, interviewing others, they have a purpose. They want to know who the purpose is, what he thinks, what he likes, what he dislikes. And therefore, when you know that person through all of these lengthy questions, the points of interest, what he likes, dislikes, you'll be able to predict what he is up to, what he can do, what he wants to do. So that's the purpose of interview. From these 16,000 hadiths, 8 volumes, you could yourself consider. If you interview somebody and your interview, the result comes 8 volumes of books, what kind of interview would that be? Very comprehensive. Therefore, the interviews of our Imams are available. The results is available in these books. If you want to know them, go through these interviews. You will be able to know who they are, what kind of people they are, what they will be doing and all of that. So then you will be able to decide, are they lovable or not? What kind of people are they? Just cannot be explained in few minutes of a little Khutba of Eid Al Adha. Cannot be explained. If you want to know, if you want to recognize, learn about them, know them properly, go through all of these books. Then you will be able to know. So, like this book, which is volume 2, the first section of it is called Kitabul Kufr wal Iman, which means Iman, belief, and the opposite side of it is explained here. In other words, it explains this book, that part especially, the part which deals with Kufr wal Iman has 200 some titles, 203 titles and chapters. And if you read them, they deal with the excellent characteristics that somebody's soul may have, should have. It's called Fadail and Rada'il and Nafsaniyah. The virtues, the good qualities and characteristics of one's soul, one's mind, one's brain, one's belief, and the opposite. You go through all of those, in all of those chapters, you must be able to find it. Many of the qualities. One is, as followers of Ahlul Bayt, we should know ourselves, who we are. What is the significance and the value and importance of a follower of Ahlul Bayt? You will be able to know it. And what should be our own relations with each other? And why the result, again, I'm sorry that there is not enough time. There is so many facts to explain for you. But again, there is no other way for me to tell you, to request you, to recommend you that you should read. As far as my personal experience, I lived in Najaf, studied, but they have their technical learnings about how to become a mujtahid and issue fatwas. And of course, the higher grade, they have to go through all of this. But when I came here, I started to translate this. I found out that all of the hadith of Ahlul Bayt is not in this. All of it is not there in Kitab al-Kafi. Much more. This has 16,000 hadiths, but there are more. The only way to find would be, there's another book called Bihar al-Anwar. That's the most comprehensive one. When I finished this, 8 volumes translating into English, and then I had the desire to translate all of ahadith wherever possible. We started Bihar. After Bihar, today it is printed in 110 volumes. Out of that, 110 volumes, we've been able to do about 11, 12 of them. And the rest needs to be done. That book is really comprehensive, all issues in all aspects. One of the volumes we have translated is the biography, history of Sayyid al-Shuhada. And the other one translated is the history and biography of Hazrat Fatima Sayyidat Nisa al-Alam. And of course, Kitab Fazl al-Ilm, Kitab al-Aql wal-Jahl, Kitab al-Tawheed, and about the Day of Judgment, about Barzakh, and all of those, which is from volume 1 to 8. Those are translated, but they are not yet available. We need to buy time in order to put them in order. Requires time and requires work and it requires the abilities to deal with them. Today is easier to, at least the electronic form of it is possible to do. So all of these ahadith are very important for us to read. The more we read, the more better for us, and we will be able to recognize Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. Just one hadith I would mention, our own relation. We should realize who we are. Then, how should we deal with each other? One simple fact, hadith that I would mention from volume 2 says, shaking hands. What is the significance of shaking hands with each other? Imam says in this hadith, when two mu'min, there is one condition, has to be mu'min, acknowledge the right of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. With that belief, if two people come together and shake hands, hadith says, Allah will insert His own hand between the two hands. One condition. You shake hand out of the desire, out of respect, because this person in his heart has the love for Ahlul Bayt. That's why I shake hand with him. If that's the intention and that is the desire, then Allah's hand is the third one in between. And then, in that case, Allah looks to one of them. His hand is there, the expression in hadith, and He looks to one of them. To which one? the one who has more intense love for his brother, for the follower of Ahlul Bayt, Allah looks to him as well. And the sins of forgiven. The sins began to fall like leaves fall from the trees in autumn. And also, in the other hadith, Imam says, this is also the significance. Imam addresses his companion, his Sahabi, says, you people go to the extremes about us, try to describe us. You Shias try to describe our status, who we are, how important our excellence. You must keep in mind, just the way one is not able to describe Allah. Human beings cannot describe Allah, who He is and how He is, cannot describe. In the same way, you cannot describe us, A'immah. The excellence of A'immah, you cannot describe it, you cannot reach it. And also, Imam goes further, just the way you cannot describe Allah and you cannot describe us, no one will be able to describe the qualities of a Shia, a follower of Ahlul. This gives you a hint how important the follower of Ahlul is. And also, I would like to one more hadith, that we should be careful about each other. Our own relations with each other, with the followers of Ahlul Bayt is very important. We should be very careful about it. A little hadith. During Hajj, people move from Makkah, different places, Miqats, Ju'afa, and all of that. The Hajjis would go, and during the time of the Imam, one significant thing for them was that they had to see the Imam, their own Imam. So the crowd, you could guess, people from all over would come and visit the Imam. In that crowd of people around, the sixth Imam turns to his Shia and says, asks them and kind of makes a comment. What is the matter with you people? You disrespect us, you take us lightly. And everybody becomes anxious and concerned. The Imam, who has done it? Who is the one who could take the A'immah alayhi salam, the Imams lightly? Can he disregard them? Everybody is anxious about it. One person from Khurasan, this hadith I'm quoting from volume 8 of Al-Kafi. This hadith is mentioned in volume 8. One person, a tall person from Khurasan, he cannot take it, he cannot stand it. He stands up. He said, who dares, Ya Imam, Ya Ibn Rasulullah? Who dares who could take you, our Imams, lightly and kind of disrespect? You know what happens? Imam addresses him and says, you are one of them. And you consider the condition of that person. He says, starts to beg, Ya Ibn Rasulullah, what did I do? Imam says, remember in Juhfa, that old person was begging all of you, I need help, I need a ride for a mile or two, I'm tired, I need help. You passed by, did not pay attention to him. You disregarded him. The Imam says, whoever disregards, takes our Shia, our followers lightly, they have disregarded us and taken us lightly. Now you can think about it, that the followers of Ahlul Bayt, how important they are, and what should be our relation with each other. If we, Allah forbid, disregard each other, ends up where? Disregarded A'immah. Nobody wants to do that, at no cost. So this reminds us of one more thing. Two sentences of Hazrat Fatima's Khutba, from the khutbah that she delivered, two phrases, very small. جعل ولايتنا أمانا من الفرقة وإمامتنا نظاما بالملة. Wilaya means love of Ahlul Bayt. Allah has made love of Ahlul Bayt nijatam min al-furqa, protection against differences, against quarreling, against fighting. If you love Ahlul Bayt, no room for quarreling or differences. As Hazrat Fatima al-Zahra, salawatullahi wa salamu alayha, has said it, جَعَلَ وِلَايَتَنَا أَمَانًا مِنَ الْفُرْقَةِ. If you have love for Ahlul Bayt, there is no differences and no quarrels and no difficulties. Love Ahlul Bayt. And with this part of the khutbah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant all of us the opportunity to follow these guidelines of our life. Sallallahu alaihi
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين صلوات اللهم صل على محمد اللهم صل على محمد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الحمد لله الواصل الحمد بالنعم والنعم بالشكر نحمده على آلائه كما نحمده على بلائه ونستعينه على هذه النفوس البطامة وملته الصراط المستقيم ونستغفره عما أحصاه كتابه وأحاط به علمه علم غير قاصر وكتاب غير مغادر ونؤمن به إيمان من عين الغيوب ووقف على الموضوع إيمان النفع يفاز الشرك ويكون الشك ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأن محمدا صلى الله عليه وآله عبده ورسوله شهادة تسأل عن القول وترفع عن العلم لا يخف ميزان توزعان فيه ولا يثقل ميزان ترفعان عنه اللهم فصل وسلم على سيد المرسلين خاتم النبيين وعلى اهل بيته المنتجبين المعصومين ورحمة الله وبركاته. عباد الله يوصيكم وإياي بتقوى الله إن أحسن الحديث كتاب الله العزيز أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم العصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر صدق الله العلي العظيم. In this point, I'll go back to a little bit of mention of Hajar al-Aswad hadith and make it as short as possible. Hajar al-Aswad of the, if you go through Kitab Manasik al-Hajj, which the ulama, fatwas of ulama how to perform Hajj and the rules to follow, it's a very detailed rules about it and meticulously, partly complicated, especially for those who go for Hajj for the first time. Hajar al-Aswad, according to Hadith, was thrown from paradise, from Jannah, to Adam alayhi salam. Mecca, Kaaba, usually we say Hazrat Ibrahim did it. The builder of Mecca was, Kaaba was Ibrahim and his son Ismail. But according to Hadith, no, it's Hazrat Adam was the one who did it. There's a very interesting point in it, the idea of the black stone was thrown from somewhere. You have heard, there was a kind of research somehow, that this stone, piece of stone, does not belong to a scientist. I'm not sure, I cannot rely on that, but he said, I kind of heard in my memory that somebody said, this stone does not belong to this planet, it's from somewhere else. There is a hint here at this hadith also, that that stone was thrown to Adam to comfort him. Adam was missing this hadith at the stone, because the stone is the one of the rules that you should do. It's not obligatory, but you should do, you must do. And if you go into the meaning of it, you must do. When you do Hajj, you should stand before Hajar al-Aswad. Inshallah, Allah give you all of you tawfiq to do that. You have to certain expression to say, "Oh stone, oh black stone, I'm returning my trust to you. Bear witness that in this life I came and I return my trust to you." This is the expression. You should say that. And then the rest of it goes, what is your belief? Who is your creator? Who is the messenger? Who are the imam? All of this you have to say to the stone, addressing the stone, and say, these are my testimony, and these are the trust that I'm returning to you. So keep it and record and bear witness that I came in this life and told you and returned the trust. The reason for that is, again, the answer of the Imam to that question, why it is there. Imam told his Sahabi that when we have also the verse of the Holy Quran, at one point Allah called all of human beings from the back of their fathers in the alam al-dhar, in particles form, and asked all of them, am I not your creator? Everybody said, yes, we are. Not only that, Quran mentions only this little much, but Allah takes the whole system of His religion. Who my messengers, who are my representatives, who are my awsiyaf, anbiya, and Imambargah in the picture, the whole complete detail, the covenant that we call it, the grand covenant of Allah with the creatures, was that He told you, am I your creator or no? That is what you are. Who is my messenger? And the imams and the successor of the messenger, all of them. So this is the grand covenant. And also the expression says, the black stone was a piece of a pearl, a white piece of pearl. And Allah, at that time it was an angel. Allah, the expression of Arabic is al-qamar. Al-qamar means made a morsel of the thing. And in English we translate fed to him. Allah fed all of this information, the covenant of every individual, every human being was recorded and fed to that angel to keep it. And that everybody has said, everybody said, yeah, I believe, all the human beings say. Allah is the creator, the messenger, and the religion, and His commands and everything. They will all record it. The reason, the second question, Imam said, why, the person asked, why it is in that corner? Imam said, this is the place where the grand covenant took place. That's why it is there. And Al-Mahdi alayhi salam also will. And so, for practical reason, to keep in mind, that when inshallah you are given the opportunity to visit Hajj, this is the place that you, all of the details, return your covenant to the black stone and ask him to bear witness on your behalf that you did the job. Many other issues, the only thing is that there's only one way to know it. Go to this, unfortunately it's not yet published, volume 4. Volume 4 of Al-Kafi, Kitab al-Hajj, has all the details. And inshallah it's electronically available in e-book form. You could have it and read it. And with this, I would like to also end this part of the khutbah because I think I have given all my time. Again, is we should read the Shia of Ahlul Bayt are supposed to be number one. There is another hadith that says, in a town of 100,000, you should be number one. In matter of trust, people can trust you. You trust. The Holy Prophet was Ameen. The title he got was he was Ameen, known in among his enemies as the most trustworthy person. And that's the quality of the follower of Ahlul Bayt, that we must maintain this quality. Imam says, in a town of 100,000, you must be number one. People should know you that you is the most trustworthy person. And all these qualities that are mentioned in the hadith, and we pray to Allah to grant all of us the opportunity and make this Eid a blessing for all of us and remove all of the difficulties that we followers of Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam are facing today. اللهم نسألك وندعوك باسمك العظيم الأعظم الأجل الأكرم يا الله يا الله يا الله يا الله يا الله نسألك باسمك العظيم الأعظم الأجل الأكرم بحق نبيك وآله الطاهرين صلوات الله وسلامه عليهم أجمعين. اللهم يا رب العالمين اقضي حوائجنا وتقبل منا أعمالنا واجعل فينا الخير والبركة والأمان والعافية في الدنيا والآخرة من الآفات والبليات ومن شر شياطين الجن والإنس. اللهم اقض حوائجنا اللهم اغفر أمواتنا اللهم اشف مرضانا اللهم تقبل منا بأحسن قبولك يا أرحم الراحمين يا أكرم الأكرمين بحق نبيك وآله الطاهرين. اللهم تفضل علينا من بركاتك ورحمتك وغفرانك وعافيتك يا أرحم الراحمين. صلى الله على محمد وعلى محمد. For those who have passed away, I request all of us to recite Surah Al-Fatiha and to salawat. وصلى الله على
اللهم صل على محمد.